Hello, how are you guys today? Welcome to our 26th class. Today we are going to start our conversation about relative clauses, okay? So this is the first part of the class in which I want to talk to you about these relative clauses, okay? But first of all, what is a relative clause? Now, a relative clause tells us which person or thing the speaker means. For example, we have the sentence, the girl is very friendly. Okay, it's a perfectly easy, simple sentence, right? But outside of a context, this sentence is kind of difficult to understand, right? Now, which girl is very friendly? It's difficult to know, right? We don't know who is the girl the speaker wants to talk about, okay? So in these cases, we can add a relative clause to provide extra information. Actually, this is in this case here, the relative clause is going to specify the person that the speaker wants to talk about. For example, we can say the girl who works here, okay? The girl who works here. Now, the girl who works here, she is very friendly, okay? The girl who works here, she is very friendly. And now we can just add these sentences together and make one complete sentence. For example, the girl who works here is very friendly. The girl who works here is very friendly. So now it is very simple, very easy to understand who the speaker means, right? Who the speaker wants to give us information about, right? So he wants to give us information about the girl who works here. And what is the information? Well, he wants to tell us that she is very friendly, okay? He wants to tell us that she is very friendly. Now, this part here in red, who works here, is our relative clause, okay? So this means the sentence is perfectly correct, grammatically correct, without this part, okay? As we saw in the beginning here, the girl is very friendly. Look, the sentence is still here. The girl is very friendly. But now we have a relative clause. In this case here, the relative clause is in the middle of the sentence, but it could be at the end, okay? No problem. So the idea is that a relative clause is a part of a sentence. Actually, it is almost another sentence that provides information about, in this case here, the subject of the sentence, the main sentence, right? Now we have here an example, the girl who works here is very friendly. Now, how can we use relative clauses, okay? The first kind of relative clauses we are going to see today are the relative clauses that talk about people, just like the one we just saw, okay? So now, use who or that when talking about people. So every time we are going to give information about a person, we can use who or that, okay? Either who or that. Now, we use who or that instead of he, she, or they, okay? So who or that, in this case, is going to replace he, she, or they, okay? Let's see an example. The man is tall. The man is tall. Now, which man? He lives next door. So, the man, he lives next door, is tall, right? The man, he lives next door, is tall. Now, remember, we can use who or that to replace he in the relative clause, right? So, we are going to say, the man who lives next door is tall. Or, if you prefer, the man that lives next door is tall, okay? So we use who or that instead of he, she, or they. So in this case here, we have he, right? And we can use who or that to replace he. Okay, so now I know who is the man, right? It's the man who lives next door. It's the man that lives next door. He is tall, okay? So, the full sentence, the man who lives next door is tall, okay? Let's see another example now. So, all the two examples we saw so far we had a relative clause in the middle of the sentence, right? Now we are going to see one example with the relative clause at the end of the sentence. Now, follow me. A burglar is a person, okay? A burglar is a person. He steals things. So a burglar is a person. He steals things. Now, let's add these two sentences together and, of course, making a relative clause with this second one here. So, a burglar is a person who steals things, okay? Remember, I can use who or that to replace he, she, or they, okay? So, in this case here, I used who to replace he. It's also possible to use that, right? So, example, a burglar is a person that steals things. So, a burglar is a person that steals things, and in this case here, that is replacing he, just as who is, okay? So, the who and that, they are replacing he. We can choose either who or that, okay? So it's not always possible to use that, okay? But we are going to see a little more about this next class, all right? So now, of course, we can make, now we know we can make relative clauses to give information about people. Now, can we also give information about things and objects? Yes, it's also possible to have relative clauses which are related, okay? So they are always relative. They are related to, in this case, a thing. For example, use which or that when talking about things. So when we talk about things, we cannot use who, okay? We cannot use who for things, as well as we cannot use which for people. Now, which only for things, who only for people, and that we can use for both, right? Either people or things, right? Now, we use which or that instead of it or they, okay? So it doesn't matter if the things are in the plural, okay? It could be singular or plural. Both cases we can use which or that to make the relative clause, okay? So replacing either it or that. Let's see an example. The chair is in the living room. The chair is in the living room. Now, which chair? The chair, in this case here, it is broken, right? The chair is broken. Now, we can add these two sentences together saying the chair that is broken is in the living room. The chair that is broken is in the living room. Now, in this case, that is replacing it, right? It is broken, and we are using this case now, that is broken. The chair that is broken is in the living room. In this case, of course, it's also possible to use which. So, the chair which is broken is in the living room. The chair which is broken is in the living room. Now, in this case, of course, I'm using which to replace it, okay? Now, let's practice a little, okay? So, the first exercise we are going to see is let's try to turn these two sentences into one, okay? So let's try to create a relative clause. Now, the main sentence is, did you meet the guy? Which guy? So the guy, he sells popcorn. The guy sells popcorn. So now, how can I replace he? Remember, in this case here, to make a relative clause, we can replace he either by that or by who, right? Because this is a person we're talking about. So, did you meet the guy who sells popcorn? Did you meet the guy who sells popcorn? Or, of course, if you prefer to use that, did you meet the guy that sells popcorn? Did you meet the guy that sells popcorn? Okay, so in these cases, I can use either who or that to replace he, okay? Now, another example. A dictionary is a book. It gives you the meanings of words. Now we have it, so it means this is a thing, right? So we can use either that or which. Now, a dictionary is a book which gives you the meanings of words. A dictionary is a book which gives you the meanings of words. Now, in this case here, which is replacing it. Now we have only one sentence providing information about the dictionary, right? So we have the main sentence, which says that, that a dictionary is a book, and we also have another sentence with more information that specifies what a dictionary is, right? So a dictionary is a book which gives you the meanings of words. Of course, if you prefer, a dictionary is a book that gives you the meanings of words, okay? Very simple, right? Just there's only one difference between people or things, okay? Now, let's do a different exercise now. Choose the appropriate ending from the list and complete the sentences using who or which. So we have a list of endings here, and we have to complete these sentences using, of course, either who or which, depending if it's a thing or a person, right? So in these cases here, I am asking you not to use that, okay? Of course, it's also possible to use that in these sentences, right? So let's begin here with the first. The police are looking for the thief. The police are looking for the thief. Now, how can we end this sentence? How can we give information about the thief? Now, it makes jewelry. The thief makes jewelry. Doesn't make much sense, right? They lived underground? No. A thief is only one person, right? Not they. She reads 5 books a month. It's possible, of course. A thief could be a girl, of course, she. But then it doesn't make sense, right? A thief who reads 5 books a month? It's possible, but that's not exactly the ending we are looking for, right? They were in the fridge? No, the thief is only one person, singular, right? It cannot begin with they. So, he stole a car downtown, of course. This makes a lot of sense, right? So, the police are looking for the thief. He stole a car downtown. So, the thief stole a car downtown. Can we put these two sentences together? Can we use this sentence from the list to end the first sentence? Yes, we can. So, the police are looking for the thief who stole a car downtown. The police are looking for the thief who stole a car downtown. Now, here I want to call your attention to remind you that the police is always plural in English, okay? So, the police are. We never say the police is, okay? The police are. We can only say, for example, the policeman is. Then, okay, the policeman is. But the police, always plural in English, okay? So, the police are looking for the thief who stole a car downtown. Now, number 2 here. I know a woman. I know a woman. It makes jewelry. A woman is not it, right? They, not possible either. So, she. I know a woman. She reads 5 books a month. So I know a woman. Are we going to use who or which? Of course, we are going to use who because we are talking about a person, right? So, she reads 5 books a month. I know a woman who reads 5 books a month. I know a woman who reads 5 books a month. Okay? And the third here. This book is about family. This book is about a family. It makes jewelry? No. The family makes jewelry? No. They lived underground? Yes, it's possible, right? Family, of course, is in the singular here, but the idea is plural. So a family can be composed by a few people or many people, okay? Now, they lived underground. It's possible, okay? So this book is about a family. They lived underground. So this family lived underground. So this book is about a family who lived underground. This book is about a family who lived underground. Of course, family, we are talking about people, right? This book is about a family who lived underground. So, where are the vegetables? Where are the vegetables? It makes jewelry? No, makes no sense. They were in the fridge. Now, where are the vegetables now? Before, they were in the fridge. Now, where are the vegetables which were in the fridge? Where are the vegetables which were in the fridge? Okay, where are the vegetables which were in the fridge? Now, Jerry works for a company. Of course, this company makes jewelry, right? It makes jewelry. Now, Jerry works for a company. Who or which? Which, of course, a company is not a person, right? So, in this case, Jerry works for a company which makes jewelry. Jerry works for a company which makes jewelry, okay? Now, of course, as I told you, it is possible, in all these sentences, it would be possible to use that, okay? So it would be correct to say, the police are looking for the thief that stole a car downtown. Perfect. I know a woman that reads 5 books a month. This book is about a family that lived underground. Where are the vegetables that were in the fridge? Jerry works for a company that makes jewelry. Okay, so always in these cases here, always possible to use that. But that's not always true. Okay, it is possible in some situations. There are many situations actually in which we cannot use that. We have to use either who or which, okay? But we are going to see a little more about this next class, right? So, the last thing I want to talk to you about a relative clause today is that, did you see that the conjugation of the verbs, they are maintained, they are kept after we change the sentence with a subject by the relative clause, right? When we turn a sentence into a relative clause. What do you mean, teacher? Okay, look here with me. Look here. It makes jewelry. Okay, so here we have a simple sentence. It makes jewelry. Now, pay attention at the verb. The verb to make here is conjugated in the third singular person, right? Third person of the singular. He, she, it, right? It makes. Now, let's look here in the sentence. Jerry works for a company which makes jewelry. So, it's easy to see that the conjugation of the verb is maintained after we turn a normal sentence, right, into a relative clause, okay? So we do not have to change the verb, okay? The verb stays the same. Okay, folks, so next class, we are going to continue our conversation about relative clauses. We are going to see that it's also possible to use relative clauses in different situations, and then we are going to see when we have to use whom, okay? Something that is not very common, it's a little more formal in English, but it's important to understand, okay? Sometimes if you are studying for a test, for example, it's important to know when we have to use whom and not who, okay? But all this we are going to see next class, of course, together with the cases in which we cannot use that to replace who or which, okay? So I hope to see you all next class. Thank you very much for watching my videos. If you like this class, please give me some thumbs up at the bottom. Tell your friends about this work. I really hope to see you all next class. Bye bye.